everyone. It is Friday already. This week has just gone by like whoop, and it's over. So we're really excited to end the week with the incredible Katrina Petryshyn with the Maker's Keep. Now, I don't know, you might have to be under a rock to not have heard of Maker's Keep yet, but what Katrina has done and what she really started, is being one of those voices that lifts up the things people do and make. And these are not just, handmade things. These are curated, incredible goods and products that are made right here in Edmonton or in Alberta or throughout Canada. And they are such cool things. I'm talking jewelry, I'm talking candles, I'm talking clothing, anything you could think of. She's curated it and brought it to life in her store, The Maker's Keep. So today we are so excited to welcome one of the first in our city to really start bringing all of these local entities together and giving a voice to the makers. Katrina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. What a nice intro.
Aw, well, it's hard not to do a nice intro. I love your hair. Last time I saw you pre-COVID was blonde.
Yeah, I thought I would go like post-quarantine crazy. And it's funny because when I was setting up for today, I realized that like my hair matches my wall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I must have like an obsession with this coral color.
It's a fun color. It reminds me of summer. So
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, thank you.
How are you? That is a loaded question.
Yeah, I'm good. I've been on the roller coaster ride the last few months, like everybody. Definitely business and personal lives have had to shift, going from having childcare to no childcare and then still working and pivoting the business to keep going and going online. It was a huge learning curve, but yeah, we're good. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm on this like upwards part of the roller coaster because we just reopened all the 3 storefronts, which was huge. So yesterday actually was the last one to reopen and it was great and things are going well. So I'm feeling optimistic and excited for summer.
You and me both. The idea that we can open our doors again here soon to a few people at first, and then a few more, and then make sure we have all the right safety things happening, and that they're happening in the right times, and they're always continuous. And it's just such a struggle. But for people who don't know you, we were really lucky to have met several years ago, right before the very first Maker's Keep open. Let's go back there to this girl that had this idea.
Yeah.
That idea.
Well, that's what it was. It was an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It all was sparked because I myself as a maker, I have a jewelry business, which I still operate, not as much anymore, but I still do it. That's my whole passion for everything that I do. And I was living abroad, and where I was just a ton of local small business run stores. Like if you wanted clothes, food, anything you wanted was at these little like collectives, and I just loved it because you were getting something homegrown, made from scratch, and it was so unique and different. And so when we moved home, I had always said like Edmonton needs that. Like there's a huge population of makers, not just people making like knitting or clothes or like that. It's also like the tech side of things and the innovators. And there's just so many people in our community that are creating amazing things. And so when we came home, I thought, well, I'm going to start a little collective. I'm going to reach out to those people that I know from markets and stuff and see how it goes. And then, yeah, that was the first store that we did. And that's how I met you. And I always remember we started with 12 vendors. And by that Christmas, we had like 63 vendors. It just was a snowball effect of people being like, I want to work with you. This is awesome. So it
was a different way here. It was a different way here to get your things in front of people without having to sit at the market for 14-hour days and hauling it all in your car and finding childcare on a Saturday. Hard thing to do.
Exactly. So it was always a thing like, let us sell your blood, sweat, and tears for you. So that was kind of how we approach people, like, bring us your product. There's no cost to you. We would just take a small percentage when things sell. So it gives people the opportunity to test new product, new designs. Maybe they're brand new to the business and they've never done it before. So they're like, I don't even know if this stuff will work, but we would sell it for them. And then it sometimes worked, it sometimes didn't work, but then they could pivot their business as well and see what was selling really well in store versus in market, because there's also a difference there. A lot of times we'll see people sell out of something at a market scene, whereas in store it doesn't sell as well. So it just gave people a chance to explore their business at a different level, and it gave me the opportunity to do what I really wanted to do, which at the very, you know, kind of going way back to my schooling, is I did museum curating. So I started as someone who wanted to like curate art galleries and museums. That was what I went to school for. So in the end, I ended up curating in a sense, but just by doing it with local makers and entrepreneurs and, homegrown talent. So yeah.
I remember that first time we talked and you were nervous. It was just opening up and I don't know if this is going to fly. And that was kind of pre the whole shop local movement, the local explosion of incredible goods and that support. And we've seen that so much in the last few months, which is just one of the heartwarming things that has come out of all of this. But you were the first, you were one of the first. When did that feeling inside of you switch to complete excitement and maybe even overwhelming? Because it went fast and you moved from that little store into bigger places and bigger avenues quickly.
Oh, totally, Des. Like I remember meeting you because I was like, every time you came to interview me, I was so pumped. I thought I've really made it. I'm on
obviously
and
CTV baby.
Yeah. And I was always I'm like still an optimist. I always see the good in things. So I just thought this is gonna work. Like I have a small jewelry business, and if someone were to come to me with this opportunity, I'd love it. So I was like, this is gonna work. But I think the time that it really hit me was when I was approached by Kingsway Mall. So I had always seen malls as being a place for the big stores, like the stores that could afford to be in a mall, the stores that had, corporate backing. And so when the mall approached me saying that they wanted to do a pop-up, they really wanted to support what we were doing, that's when I felt like, holy moly, this is cool. So I totally took on that challenge. It was crazy because I was like 8 months pregnant, and we set up that pop up at Kingsway Mall, and you interviewed me again, and I'm a big belly. Yeah. And I was just like, this is going to be so, it kind of just skyrocketed from there because we had a lot more opportunities come our way. Our vendor list doubled. We were working with, we work with amazing brands, but we were starting to work with brands that had more years behind them. So they're a little bit more established, which was really great because I learned a lot from them as well. And yeah, that was kind of the moment. I was like, we're in a mall. Like I used to go to Kingsway Mall when I was younger, and I was like, I now have a store in Kingsway Mall. Like that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And how did it make you feel to put all of those makers on that to say, hey, you're in a mall?
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, I always have said that we did this together. Like I couldn't run the store without the makers. Like it's a partnership. It's a collaboration. It has to be that way. So it was always just like, look what we're doing, guys. This is so cool. Like we are making this happen. And then, with Edmonton Made coming, like growing, and their platform for local makers, and just all the other businesses that the city has, kind of all the initiatives, the maker movement in Edmonton, I feel like blew up because you saw more stores like mine opening in malls as well, and more stores just opening, which was it was always like more the merrier, because the more you get local makers and businesses providing them that platform to get into retail and to get their products out, it just, you just saw this explosion of like the maker movement. And then now with COVID, unfortunately, COVID happened. I'm not going to say it's a good thing at all.
No.
But it like pushed this movement, I feel like, to the next level, because now we're seeing even more innovation coming out of makers because it's out of a necessity. So there's a lack of product in stores because everything has shut down. Like, production overseas is shut down, so stores don't have products. So we're seeing makers come out of the woodwork making masks and essentials, body care, health care, sustainable goods, like all this stuff that people are needing. So it's even taking it to the next level, and I'm so excited. Like it's crazy.
Yes, it put them on the next level of a platform. And
Yeah,
I also won't, COVID isn't great. It's awful. It's horrible. People have been
yeah,
dying and so sick, and it's affected everyone around the world. But in this moment of pause, in this moment of shifting,
yeah,
we've seen people really rise to that occasion, and makers in our city who were already supported because Edmonton just kind of has that, roll up your
oh
sleeves and
yeah,
get her done kind of attitude.
totally,
And they're doing it already. And so the makers just said, we got this, we can do this.
yeah,
What I hope is that continues. And what I think though, is even myself, new things that I have tried, I'm like, I didn't know that existed here. Why not just keep
right.
doing it here?
Well, so many businesses had to shift to online, like us. We never did online. I always said we wouldn't because we had all of our makers do online, so we could just direct people to their website. But it was a need to buy from several makers and several different products that kind of pushed our online, which was really exciting. But we've seen so many makers come up with new, unique things that they're creating from things that they have at home. So something else that's pivoting is the need to like reuse and recycle. So now we're seeing there's a lack of that, supplies out there. So you can't necessarily all go and grab as much supplies that you would have needed before. So now people are reusing clothes to make things, or they're reusing old furniture to make things. And that has always been popular, but that's even like on the rise more, which is really cool for sustainability. So yeah, I posted something on the Makers Keep Instagram page the other day that was a quote from an amazing New Yorker, and it was just about 2020. We thought, oh, 2020 is canceled, but it was just setting us up for change. So in the world of COVID, Black Lives Matter, everything that's happening right now, there's just like this feeling of change, this kind of like it's a pivot, like things are going to shift. And I think people are going to continue to shop local and support all of these amazing makers and small businesses. I hope they do, because I think the maker movement is critical to the economy and for Canada's, like, to rebuild Canada, not
Our
just Alberta,
diversification,
our country. Yeah.
yeah. And to, lifting those people up, we needed them. They were there. So even when we don't need in the same way, they're still
Yeah.
there. They still need, then they need
Yeah.
us. So that role will switch and change. So for you guys right now, what Makers Keep, tell people where Makers Keep is, where they can find you, because you have more than one location. You have your beautiful new location too.
I know. I love it so much. Oh, this pause actually gave us a chance to do a bit of the last minute changes that we didn't get to do before Christmas because we opened so frantically. But our like flagship store is on 124th Street, 10806 124th Street. It's in the new brick building called the Grand. It's on the corner of where the 124th Street Grand Market is on Thursday night. So it's just, the summer is going to be so great over there. I'm so pumped. And then we have our store in Kingsway Mall. It's right across from H&M. And then we also have a location in the Enjoy Center in St. Albert, which we just opened yesterday. So we're really excited about that one too, because it's in a greenhouse. Again, summer, flowers, plants, can't get much better than that. So
And absolutely can. For all those makers at home that have shifted or pivoted or are thinking about it, you curate those pieces, those items. I mean, that is still your role in this. So what advice can you give them as they're like, I don't know what to do?
Yeah. Well, I always tell people, whether you're a hobbyist, a DIYer, crafter, whatever you are, you may not think that you have it to be in business. And I've heard that time and time again. But whatever you're making has the potential to be something great. You might just need that little push. So apply to the store. If whatever the case is, if there's some guidance or feedback I'll give you, I will. Something I'll say though is think about what's really useful for right now, because a lot of people can make something that we've seen on Pinterest. It's not that difficult. But to really stand out, think of things that can be useful right now. So things that are going to be crafty and cool, but maybe provide a purpose, because people are still hesitant to get out there and shop just because of the economy and the loss of jobs, and we don't want to forget that. So if you can sell something that's unique and handmade but provides a purpose to people, they're going to buy it. So something that's sustainable, maybe some cool planter pots because people are still wanting to plant, or some clothes for kids that are recycled out of something because people still need to clothe their kids, those kind of things, or something that's self-care. Jewelry for like that has the lava but unique ways of using it, so it's about self-care, self-love, taking time for yourself. Those are things that we're seeing kind of on the up, because people are really trying to take that time for them. When you're got a house full of kids and you're at home working and you're stressed out, they want to have that 10-15 minutes to themselves. So maybe it's something that they can focus on, or that they enjoy. So yeah, it's hard to say because I have so many ideas up here. I really do. So if people are wanting to just get some guidance, they can email me. The email is right on the website. That comes directly to me. And yeah, I just think being creative, do it. If it's something that provides you joy, 100% do it. But if you're looking to get into it as a business right now, I'd say focus on the products that can uplift people or provide that function and purpose, like I said. So it's more likely going to get purchased.
Absolutely, because you can't have a whole bunch of things sitting on the shelves either. And people need those self-care moments, those stops. I don't know if you saw, there was a tiny blonde head that snuck into the screen here a few minutes ago. She's like, I'll just sneak in there. There's no sneaking at 7. Like, come on. But yes, I get that. My candle budget has gone slightly up. Some of those things. Gone way up.
Sometimes it's like those little things that bring you joy. So if you have that budget if you have that room in your budget to afford a little something extra that brings you happiness right now, I say do it. So for those makers out there that might have an idea that like, I've really loved making blank. It brings me joy. Maybe it will bring someone else joy. Try it, because it probably will.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Is it fun for you still? What feeling do you get when you discover or find you're like, oh, they're doing that? What?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When I go through an application, because we have just like a spreadsheet and I'll see who's applied to the store. And when someone is on there with something super unique that I've never seen, I get so pumped. I immediately want to like reach out and be like, who are you? This is amazing. Like you're so creative. And yeah, I love it. I still get goosebumps when I talk about the business. I still, there's hard days, obviously, but I always see the opportunities and what we can do next and what we can do to help the community. And I want to this next part of the year, I want to focus on things we can do to help makers in the community via what you're doing at the Creative Hive with these Facebook Lives, because I think it's so helpful and people just need that bit of something to keep them going and keep them inspired. And so I'm trying to look at ways to do that. And
what I would like to do, I think it's the perfect segue into, we want to once a week feature a maker, period. So what I'm going to ask for your help in is send a few my way. Email me all the people that are at your store, and we will happily once a week, a Facebook Live will be dedicated to a maker. And that can be with me. I can chat with you, or you can have the platform to yourself to really just dive into what you want to dive into. Either way, it's not a problem, but I love it.
And either way, I think it's amazing because there's so many people out there that are making cool stuff, but let alone the product they're making. Their stories are amazing. And right now, I think sharing people's stories is helping a lot of people at home that might be suffering or feeling a little bit closed in or depressed or having feelings they've never felt before because they've been at home for 3 months and they have their kids at home. Work isn't the same. They're not getting dressed to leave the house. There's so many things that have changed in our everybody's world that it's not, it shouldn't be a taboo topic. So a lot of these makers are in the same scenario and they're still given her, or maybe they've had to change how they do things, and they can talk about that and share a story. It might help one person. So yeah, I think it's a great initiative and I'd love to help any way I can.
You send me the makers, we will give them a platform and direct people obviously back to the Makers Keep into their own platforms. And once we're all allowed to be like more together in bigger groups, we'll do something wild and crazy, but we won't say what that is yet because I don't know what that is just yet, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm like, I have yet to have my grand opening for the Grand. And we had it planned. It was the grand opening. It was gonna be 70s theme. And I was so excited. I just can't wait to actually do it and like a big party.
Right. We need a party once it's safe to do so.
A safe distance party.
We can all come with our hula hoops. Maybe some maker needs to make like suspenders with a hula hoop.
Or the hats with the noodles that stick out.
Wear around. And so, you know, you can't go into my loop. And so you don't even, there's not even an opportunity to.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay, guys, if you're out there, we need a cute hula hoop thing to wear at parties. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's
always fun chatting with you. Thank you. I love talking to you. This has been such a fun journey over 3 years, getting interviewed by you on so many different levels.
I know, like now, but now you're my friend too, which is beautiful. So let's get you back to the Hive soon. Can't wait to get to the Grand Market, and we will start. We'll make it next Wednesday. We'll make it Wednesdays. Wednesdays will be our Makers Day.
Cool. We'll chat. I love it. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Have a lovely day. Say hi to your boys too.
Enjoy the sun.
That's my plan. I'm heading outside to paint, but you know, whatever. Okay. Have a good day.
Bye, bud. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.